The Milton model is the second language model of NLP. After Bandler and Grinder modeled Virginia Satir and came up with the meta model, Bateson, the British anthropologist at the University of California in Santa Cruz, then asked Bandler and Grinder to go and model Milton Erickson. And they spent 9 months modeling Erickson, and they came up with the Milton model, this extra language, set of language patterns. The first 10 or 13 patterns of the Milton model are in fact the meta model, used in entirely a different way. So for example, the meta model gets very specific. In the Milton model, using the same language patterns, they are deliberately used to be vague. Because what the Milton model does is it uses artfully vague language to overload the 7 plus or minus 2, i.e. the capacity of the conscious mind, in order to open up the unconscious. And once the unconscious is opened up, we are then able to use other Milton model language patterns to implant suggestion. So for example, there would be things like embedded commands, where the practitioner may say, you may not believe that you are able to change. So the embedded command is you are able to change, and that's what the unconscious mind picks up. Also, another Milton model pattern would be pacing current experience. So if you're talking to a person or a group of people, you may say something like, as you are sitting here in this room, listening to my voice on this Saturday afternoon, etc., etc. So everything you are saying is true. It cannot be rejected by the person because that is their current experience. And what you're doing is you're taking away the possibility of any rejection. Another example of the Milton model would be a conversational postulate, where you may say to somebody, could you turn down the air conditioning, please? Now the real answer to that question is yes or no. However, what it is a command which is expressed in the form of a question. And again, it removes the possibility of rejection. Another example of that would be an extended quote. So-and-so said that if you're not here tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, you really don't care about this job. Now, what you're doing is you're delivering a message, but you're using an extended quote, so you're removing yourself from that message, which takes away the possibility of any rejection with you. And all of these techniques are using methods in the Milton model to remove rejection. Additionally, Milton would use words like, for example, ambiguities. He would say, speaking to you as a master of hypnosis. Now that sentence itself is ambiguous because who is the master of hypnosis? Is it you or is it me? Now part of your conscious mind has to work that out. So he's sending your mind on a journey to make sense of what the sentence was. And then he'd be following that with another sentence. So now you have a choice. You either continue to work out the meaning of the previous sentence, or you have to drop it because there's more information coming. And then if you follow that with something else and something else, also a little bit ambiguous or vague, then what happens is the conscious mind gets overloaded. And again, that opens up the unconscious and allows room for suggestion to be put in. An example of that would be saying something along the lines of, now I don't know if this change is going to happen today. It may happen tomorrow. It could even happen next week. But when that change happens, etc., etc. Now, if the person hasn't rejected that, then the person is setting up their system to accept and expect a change. So suggestion is a very important part of the Milton model, as indeed is hypnotic patterning to open up the unconscious mind, to allow trance, a trance-like state to occur, and in that trance-like state, you can then implant the suggestion that you want to move the client towards the change that the client is looking for. So the Milton model is artfully vague. The first 13 patterns are the meta model, but they're used deliberately to be vague as opposed to the meta model, which gets specific. So in the meta model, we use the meta model to understand a client's map of the world. We use the Milton model to influence a client's map of the world.